Миний тоглоомын ертөнцид топ тамирал супер хүмүүсээ лайк дараад subscribe хийх юм артва Twitch kick тэр үзэж байгаа хүмүүс follow хийгээд үздэхээрээ. За тэгээ өнөөдөр хэдүүлээ. Мөнгө адил хэдэн бичлэгнүүдээ үзнэ. Тэгээ бичлэгнүүдээ үзснийхаа дараа хэдүүлээ. Elden Ring руу буцаж орно. Let's go. За тэгээ стрим эхлүүлэх гээд Elden Ring-ийн дуу тавьсан юмсан сая. Хэдүүлээ шууд бичлэг рүү гарыг. Эхнийх нь болохоор Blood Message гэдэг. 5 цагийн өмнө оруулсан бичлэг байна. IGN-ийн шин тоглоом. Тэгээд би үзмээрсэн бичлэгнүүдээ ингээд бүгднийг үзээгүй. Цуглуулсан байгаа. Тэгээд хэдүүлээ хамтдаа сонирхъя. Яг юу болохыг харъя. Let's go. Эхний бичлэг. Нэг ингээд эхлүүлчихтэй юм уу? Реклам явж байна. Төлбөртэй YouTube бол байхгүй. Төлбөргүй үздэг. Let's go. өндөр чанарын графиктэй байна.
唐还在的时候，丝路上的灯火从心里一直亮到长安，
үтэй юм шиг байна.
能点亮天上的星河。大唐离我们太远了，神佛还会庇佑河西吗？
Маш өндөр чанар.
我是认真决定的，我还是想再试一次。 今日，我们所流的血，是为了把大唐带回来。
Damn.
我们必须在破城之前把宁带出来。一人一个。
John Souls like юм уу да?
等着我。
Тийм ээ.
阿娘，阿娘，
아니요, 그노.
我将追随杀出一举。
去长安，你这是让他们去送死！
Тэжгүй шүү. Яг тоглоомныхын бичлэг бол алга байна тий. Ганцхан cinematic л яваад байна.
输赢成败，皆如沙上之塔，风来气散，为众生之苦，长漫于天地之间。
回家吧，这一切毫无意义。有人，天命所归，我才是大唐。
Энэ скил жоохон тоглоом юм шиг байна да.
到头来，除了死更多人，什么都不会改变。
没有我的帮助，
Энэ чанарын хувьд бол аягүй сайн байж шүү. Аягүй сайн чанар. The gameplay вэ нөө дараа нь хайж үзье те. Ин co-op тоглолт юм болов хамт.
阿娘，走啊！
如果神不肯拯救我们的部族，那就让我来。
Ер нь таалагдж байна. Яг геймплей үзүүлсэн бол те илүү.
阿娘，等着我。
тоглоом юм чинь тэгээ тоглоомчд бол геймплей хамгийн сонирн байна үстэй.
每个人都做好了有去无回的打算。
Айгуу сайн чанарын байж болно те геймплей муу бол тэгээ тоглоом явахгүй шүү дээ. Okay. Юу тоглоомны трейлер гаргахтаа ер нь тийм тал ер нь 60% нь тоглоомныхоо тоглолтын үзүүлэлт бас зүгээр байх. Тоглоом юм чинь тий. Тоглолтын л хүмүүс сонирхох байх гэж би бол бодоод байна шүү. Та бичиж үзье л та. Blood mage message gameplay вэ нэ харъя. Хамгийн сонирхолтой нь одоо тэр энэ шүү геймплей трейлер гэнэ. Моно. Санийч трейлер юм шүү.
阿娘，等着我。阿娘，阿娘。
Энэ бол геймплей трейлер биш байна. Reveal юм байна л та тэгээд. Яг нэг тоглолтын юу гэсэн юм бол алга байна те. The blood of Dawn Walker. Энэ тоглоомны gameplay reveal гарна гэжсэн хэдэл үзье. Гарсан байна уу харъя. Гараг болтой юм а те. О 6 сарын 21-нд
Ever get that feeling that someone is watching you, even if you're like totally alone?
No matter the play style you decide on, it's all about immersion.
Yeah, okay, stop here.
We really did our best to create the world which feels real.
Как не снуться, да? Зүгээр
Ever
хан
get
дээр
that
алхах
feeling
юм шүү
that
дээ.
someone is watching you, even if you're like totally alone?
No matter the play
Nice.
style you decide on, it's all about
Мэдээ
immersion.
харагдахад.
No matter
Аха. Энэ амттай байна те. Энэ миний бодлоор доотлол нь юу юм шүү? Stamina мөн үү? Тэгээ бас цагаан баар. Мана байж магадгүй те. Окей.
Totally alone?
no matter the play style you decide on, it's all about immersion.
Энэ дэр бас ингээ гарч. Тэгээ өдөр шөнийн юу гэж бас байдаг юм болов? Cycle гэдэг. Open world болохоор тийм байж магадгүй те.
Yeah, okay,
22
stop here.
өдөр үлдсэн гэдэг. Даалгавар нь өдрүүдээр биелд юм ах та. Өдрөөрөө биелдэг байж магадгүй юм шүү да тоглоомныхын даалгавар нь.
Okay, stop here.
We really did our best to
Дахиад 22 өдөр үлдсэн гэж байна. Тэнгүүтээ нараа гарцсан нараа өдөр солигддог
create
cycle.
the world which feels real.
There's one more thing we have to do.
Сая яасан бэ? Энэ одоо boss bar байж магадгүй бай те. Эсвэл өөрийнх нь нөгөө вампир болж хувирдаг.
There's one more thing we have to do.
Маргааш юм биш үү бро? Маргааш геймплей reveal нь гарах юм байна. Хитээс үсэн бэ? 12 PM PTD. Okay. Okay. Манай Юстус. Мөнө. Twitch.tv Don't Walker game гэдэг дээр гарах юм шүү дээ. Зөөж өгөөрэй. Энийг чинь бүртгээд авчия да. Лайк дарсан баярлалаа. Тэгэхээр маргааш ревилэн гарах юм биш үү? Маргааш ч 21 бумстэй. Бум 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 бум. Зөөж өгөөрэй. Би Twitch дээр ороод юу ч гэсэн alert насаач. John Walker game гэнэ. Окей. Яг нэг өдөр өмнө үзсэн биш үү те бичлэг нь. Nice. За бүртгэж авчлаа. Bandai Namco Rebel Wolves. Damn. The United States is joining the war. Америкт дайнд оролцохоор боллоо гэнэ. Реклам явангууд нь дууг нь хаагаад байгаа шүү дээ. Банд болохгүй тул. Тэгэл банд болчихвол тэгээд буу юм болно үстэй. За ер нь саяхан
maybe we're going to get involved. I mean I do think
ер нь юу болсон зөө? Иран дайн хийгээд Израиль Газ хоёр алалцчихсэн чинь голоор нь Иран орж ирээд дээрээс л хойш Иран нуклеар бөмбөг хийж байгаа шүү манайхнаас оролдох юм бол та нарыг бөмбөгднө гэдээсээ одоо тэгээд бөмбөгдөө эхэлж байгаа шүү байна.
I think that this entire situation, if he does this
Trump
wrong, he's going to pretty much
оролцохгүйгээр
lose the majority of his support. Or not the majority of his support, but he will lose a lot of support. And he'll lose a lot of influence. China will go over it if USA gets involved. I think China, I don't know if they're going to do that or not. Define wrong outcome. Wrong outcome is, I mean, if they don't get what they want, basically, right? If they get pushed into a war, if we have troops deployed, like I think that if for whatever reason troops get deployed into Iran, I think this will create a massive divide. It will be very, very, very.
The American цэргүүд Иран руу ороод ирэх юм бол айгүй тийм том хагаралт болно гэж ярьж байна л та. Тэгээд тэр хагаралт угаасаа болцсон шүү дээ. Дээрээс хойш хагарал яваад байгаа.
Bad if that happens. There'll be blowback. Yeah, and it makes sense that there would be blowback for that too, right? I mean, it definitely does. You could easily see why. You know, hard enough and Iran crumbles its win. If it's not effective enough, they roll out the hypersonics. They've been hiding. Things are going to get messy. Ground war. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, this is what he's talking about.
Fox News alert. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that President Trump privately has approved an attack plan for Iran, but has not yet given the final order. Will the U.S. get involved? Should we get involved? And what would it look like?
Юу тийм дэлхий гэсэн төлөвлөгөө бол Trump өөрөө гаргацсан байгаа гэж Fox News дээр ярьж байна.
David Burke, retired lieutenant colonel, is a Top Gun instructor and Marine Corps officer. David, great to see you. Colonel, you have some experience here. Although we've never dropped this 30,000-pound bomb, what could it do?
Wait.
Одоо ийм бөмбөг хайна гэж штэ ой. B2 Spirit Stealth Bomber ийм онгоцтой. Тэнгүүтээ GBU 57A-гийн B гэсэн. Хизээч ийм бөмбөг хайж байгаагүй гэнэ.
So they never even used it?
Yeah, this would be the first drop in combat, but we are
What if it doesn't work?
familiar, a lot of testing with this bomb. This is a massive weapon designed to penetrate deep underground, hardened targets, well-protected targets like the one you're discussing, and take them out.
Ер нь газар доройгоо бункер болон тэ нөө түнэл одоо газар доройгоо газрыг л ер нь хэлбэлж онгоолгож гаргаж ирэх юутай юм байна л да үүрэгтэй юм байна.
You say it's probably, even though we have some options, if you could take a look at this full screen, we're going to use the B2. And
Yeah.
we're going to have,
B2
is it going to be one 30,000 bomb per fighter jet?
нэг ширхэг байгаа юу гэж асууж байгаа байхгүй. Нэг ийм бөмбөг байгаа юу эсвэл илүү вэ нөө гэж асууж байна.
Each B2 can carry 2. It wouldn't surprise me if you had a single drop from an aircraft, but it can.
За, онгоц болгонд нь 2 бөмбөгтэй дотроо. Зүгээр жирийн бодлоор бодох юм бол нэг бөмбөгөө шидэд нөгөөх нь ажиллахгүй хоёр дахь шидэн тийм үү? Тэгээд онгоц болгонд нь 2 гэж шүү. Тэгэхээр илүү онгоцнууд бас байна гэсэн үг.
Carry 2. I think you were telling me yesterday that the first one penetrates down and the second one will go into the hole.
Үгүй юм байна. Эхнийх нь бөмбөг нь шидэнгүүд эхний газрын одоо тэр first ground layer гэдэг ч одоо эхний шорооны давхар гэсэн үгтэй. Тэгэнгүүт хоёр дахь бөмбөг нь болохоор илүү доошо дахиж малтах юм аа шин. Бүр улам гүнзгий дэлбэр нэх юм.
Yeah, that's a likely scenario. Having multiple bombs is probably going to be required for this situation. Absolutely right. You got it.
So, okay, so let's advance. Oh, okay, I can advance myself. I did not know that. You think it's going to hit on an angle, but yet it's going to glide. You said that this is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be the World War II, open up the hatch and it falls to the ground. Describe how it's going to penetrate.
Yeah, this
is a smart weapon. It has a GPS antenna in the nose. It has a really good guidance system to get exactly where it wants to be. And this is a massive bomb, Brian. It's 30,000 pounds. Now, not a lot of explosive, but a lot of weapon itself to penetrate into the ground. And that first bomb is going to hit the target, dig deep into the ground.
Bunker buster is near
Colonel, so take a look at this. This, I imagine, is an animation of the bomb. Going deep. This would be the first one in that scenario. With the second one, know exactly how to get into the hole the first one leaves behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough problem. The way you're describing it is exactly right. It's a very difficult scenario, but that, as you're describing it, is exactly what the intent would be, is put that second.
Hey Siri, how much is 200 feet in a meter? Тэгэхээр 60 метр юм биш үү заяа. 200 feet гэдэг нь 60 метр юм байна л да.
Second bomb right through the hole of the first penetration, get deeper into that target and do even more damage with the second weapon.
So Colonel, it'll penetrate about 200 feet. So it goes about 200 feet. There's about 300 feet of concrete it's got to get through, let alone what the mountain challenges have. So the first one gets through. What's the second one look like?
The second one looks very similar in terms of the glide path, and the way you're describing it, this is what we call weaponeering. This is the professionals thinking about how deep is this target, how deep does the bomb have to go, how many weapons does it need, what's the angle. All those things you're describing is exactly right. This is the problem that they're addressing, and that second bomb in a perfect world.
Тэгээ ер нь яаж бөмбөг хаях нь бол хэр гүнзгий тэр нөгөө одоо нуугдж байгаа бөмбөгнөөс нуугдж байгаа газар нь байхаас шалтгаалагдаад эхнийхээ бөмбөгийг хаяад ухаж үзээд илүү гүн байх юм бол хоёр дахь шидээд дахиж ухаж үзээд тэгээ тэрнээс илүү гүн байх юм бол хоёр дахь онгоцоо явуулаа гурав дахь шидээд ингээ явах юм байна.
Goes right through the initial hole that the first bomb created and penetrates even deeper into the target to do the damage that's needed.
So where's it coming from? I understand they're not going to be deployed in theater. It's probably going to be coming from the U.S. Wouldn't work for us to tell us exactly where. But one would go get refueled midair. They're probably that situation's in place right now. How many fighter jets? How many B2s you think we'll need?
Just 2, right? Probably.
Yeah, I would not.
Юу тэгэхээр 3 дахь дан эхэлсэн гэж хүмүүс яриад байгаа шүү дээ. Ер нь бол Орос Украинтай алцаад сая Израиль ч бас юутай Палестинтай алцж байгаад одоо Иран орж ирлээ. Тэнгүүт Америк ороод гурвалжин дөрвөлж юм болж байгаа зү.
Not be surprised if you had multiple B2s. The great thing about that aircraft, this is a remarkable machine. I think the longest B2 flight is something like 44 hours. So our ability to launch from the United States if we choose to.
44 цаг нисэн онгоцоор Америкаас бөмбөг хаяхын төлөө.
Or a forward deployed base, getting the target and back is absolutely in the wheelhouse of the capability of this aircraft. And I would expect to see multiple aircraft on this mission.
For a guy that knows how to do these flights, what's the challenge for the pilot?
hit the button.
Listen, there's a lot of
Hit the button.
challenges.
Yeah.
Obviously, anytime you take an American aircraft, American air crew, American systems, and fly into enemy territory, there is risk. The great thing about these B-2 crews, they've been practicing and preparing for this their entire careers. They are more than capable of doing this. This is things they've prepared and trained for. So once the mission starts, they're focused on that. There are certainly risks associated with the mission itself, but these are highly trained, highly capable people that are more than ready to do this.
And just by the way, you told me off camera that it's not something you get the Israelis trained up on quickly. It'll have to be an American pilot. And
so they don't know how to fuck they can't handle these bombs, bro.
Тэгэхээр Израилийн өөрсдийнх нь цэргүүд бол энийг хийхгүй байна. Заавал Америкийн цэрэг байх хэрэгтэй. Ягаад гэвэл одоо нөгөө бэлтгэл гэдэг зүйлүүд нь айгүй удаан болдог учраас энийг яг мэрэгжлийн хүмүүс нь өөрсдөө хийх хэрэгтэй гэдэг. Америкууд өөрсдөө онгоцоо унж ирээд дэлбэлэх юм байна. 44 цаг онгоцоор ниснэ гэж штэ броос. 44 цаг штэ. Тэгэд нэг онгоц нисэхгүй нилийн идэ онгоц нисгэнэ гэж байгаа байхгүй. Нилийн идэ онгоцнууд нисэх. Ер нь тэгээд зарим бөмбөгнүүд нь дэлбэрэхгүй бол тэгээд дараачих нь шидэ явна гэдэг нь ойлгомжтой л байх л та тийм ээ.
Oh, it's got to be us. We're freedom
bombs. And by the way, it doesn't detonate when it just hits the surface. We decide when it detonates. Colonel, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
No, we'll look at a
Great being here. Thanks for having me.
I'll look at. There's a video I think that CNN put out the video about how this is how the bomb works, right? And so this is what they're trying to do with this bomb. The impact spreads freedom. It does.
As President Trump weighs U.S. involvement in strikes on Iran,
here we go.
Say a massive bunker bomb is likely the only weapon capable of destroying a key Iranian nuclear facility. But as CNN's Brian Todd reports,
maybe I'm retarded, but like, why couldn't they just send a missile, like a guided missile, inside the fucking? Like, if you sent, I don't know, like maybe this is stupid. Like, if you sent it inside the entrance and it blew up the entrance collapsed, you would effectively destroy the thing, right? Multiple doors.
Oh. Тэгээд дэлбэлчээр доошоо нэвтрээ. Тэгээд таацсан дээрээс нь нураад өгөх тийм шүү гинэ.
Even this massive bomb may not be able to penetrate Iran's Fordo fuel enrichment plant,
long tunnel
which is
with
carved
4 doors
into a mountain and extends deep underground.
Objective captured.
Дональд Трамп тэгэл мэдээ гаргахад мэдээ болгон дээр тэгээд дуртай юм яриад яваад байгаа шүү дээ. Ер нь дандаа худлаа ярьдаг мэдэгдэж байгаа шүү дээ. Дайн зогсоон магсоон дэлхийн 3 дугаар дайныг баг эхлүүлж байна.
That's
хэлж болно.
It's a sophisticated, frightening piece of weaponry designed to hit targets like some of Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities deep underground.
They're buried so deep, and no other bomb would be able to certainly destroy them.
The GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, also known as the Bunker Buster, the largest non-nuclear bomb in the U.S. military's arsenal. Designed, the Air Force says, to reach and destroy weapons of mass destruction in well-protected facilities.
I feel like, I mean, we paid our tax money for this shit. I mean, like, really, if we're not going to use it to blow up a nuclear facility, like, why don't we just get a refund on these? Like, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, this is what we
Айсмаар болохоор бид нар энэ татвар бөмбөг энэ бөмбөг чинь бидний татвар үстэй гинэ. Тэгэд нуклеар хийж байгаа тэр газрын дэлбэлэхгүй бол татвараа буцаагаад авъя гинэ.
That's all. This is literally why we bought them, right?
The Buster is roughly 20 feet long, weighs 30,000 pounds, with 6,000 pounds of high explosives. The Israelis don't have them, nor the means to deliver them. Only the U.S. does, and there is no public record that they've ever been used in combat.
The United States never encountered a target that required a bomb of this size. We have other very, very large bombs, such as the Moab, which is the mother of all bombs, as they say.
That mother of all bombs, weighing more than 21,000 pounds, was dropped by U.S. forces on ISIS targets in Afghanistan in 2000.
In ISIS trajectory bömбөг Moab гэдэг mother of all bombs. Бүх бөмбөгний эцэг, бүх бөмбөгний ээж.
What? 17. How'd that go? The Bunker Buster, even heavier. Experts say the Bunker Buster has a thick, hard shell designed to withstand.
Bunker Buster нь болохоор тэр хайжсэн бөмбөгнөөс нэрээ том, хүчтэй. Тэгээд нөгөө төмөр нэрээ зузаан гэнэ.
the impacts of the ground and plunge
So that's the... Oh, shit. It is really big. Goddamn.
to the depths it needs to reach, with explosives in a fuse that also needs to be robust enough to penetrate the ground. The bunker buster doesn't have the biggest blast area, experts say, because it's designed to burrow into the ground before exploding. The only plane that can carry the bunker buster, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, flown...
That shit looks so fucking cool, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it looks badass.
by a two-pilot crew capable of flying about 6,000 nautical miles without refueling and eluding an enemy's most sophisticated defenses. The likely target of the bunker buster, if the U.S. were to get involved in this conflict, Fordo, an Iranian nuclear enrichment site buried deep under a mountain beneath possibly 300 feet of rock. A key question, could the bunker buster really damage Fordo significantly? Experts say the bunker buster can penetrate about 200 feet into the ground.
I mean, couldn't you just keep using them until you did? I mean, I feel like, yeah, if... I don't know how many of these we have, but like, yeah, if 2 doesn't work, then you use 3. Yeah, I mean, that...
Миний хэлжсэн хэлжинтэй. Эхлээд 2 нь ажиллахгүй бол 3 дахь
In terms of like government money, that's not that much.
Maybe more. But if the key targets at Fordo are about 300...
Yeah, I mean, we spend more for like, you know, like gay Sesame Street place. Yeah, I mean, it's not that much. 3 to 4 million each. Yeah, it's cheap for the military. Yeah.
100 feet under?
One bomb isn't going to penetrate that. You're going to have multiple hits at the same spot. Drop a bomb, another B-2 comes in, drops another bomb in the crater.
Азаас хожим уу эсвэл Япон янз бүрийн Азийн орнууд оролцоод эхлэх юм бол нөгөө юуны үн нэмэлт нь л дээ. Гэтэ Монголд юмны үн айгүй нэмэгдээд.
Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.
Well, that would be good, because if they did, that would be real bad. Yeah, that'd be real bad. Oh, shit. Probably. Yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, that's it. Yeah, probably.
With Jennifer Kavanagh, a senior fellow and director of military analysis at the Foreign Policy...
You know, I heard that whenever they dropped the first nuke, they didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. Yeah. So, all right, well, let's see what this does.
Think tank defense priorities. I asked her what U.S. involvement in this conflict could actually...
They're just winging it? Yeah.
So I think it's probable that Netanyahu was hoping that if he started this war and was successful initially, tactically against regime targets and other nuclear facilities, that the United States would see this as an opportunity to join in and to...
Which is, damn, that thing's big. I mean, it makes sense, too. It definitely makes sense.
Accomplish what has been a long-time U.S. goal of ending the Iranian nuclear program.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note, however, that there's no guarantee that even if the United States does use these bunker buster bombs, it would finally eliminate Iran's enrichment capabilities or forever end its pathway to a nuclear bomb.
How could you stop anything forever?
That can only be accomplished by political means, not military means.
It's interesting you say that, because Joe Siriani, who is an expert on nuclear non-proliferation and all things Iran and all things nuclear program in Iran, he explained how these bunker busters actually work in any kind of attack on the Fordo nuclear site there in Iran. Here he is. Listen to this.
The first aircraft, a B-2 rather, is the only aircraft that can carry this munition, has to drop one in a precise location, followed by another B-2 who would drop another in the crater. And that might not be enough, so you might have to do it a third or fourth time.
So, you know, in the words of, you know, the US intelligence CIA boss from back in the Iraq days, it's not a slam dunk that US involvement here would actually destroy the Fordo nuclear site completely.
Certainly not with airstrikes. There would have to be a ground component, some kind of ground raid, to ensure that facility was fully eliminated and that Iran's stockpiles of highly enriched uranium were either rendered unusable or inaccessible. And right now, no one is talking seriously about sending ground forces.
No,
so we're relying only on air power.
No. Absolutely not. Not going to happen. Yeah, because if we send troops over to Iran, we are going to be there for 10 years. It's going to be 10 more fucking years of micromanaging Another Middle Eastern country. Well, I was trying to be optimistic.
дахиад цэрэг явуулчих юм бол ер нь 10 жилийн хугацаатай бараг ингээд жижиг сажиг юм зохион байгуулаад зохицуулаад дахиад нөгөө Америк 10 жилийн дан эхэлнэ.
I was being optimistic with 10. Okay, y'all want to say 20? Fine. It'll happen. We just won't know about it. Yeah, I don't know. We need a new war to get the economy back up. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, that's true.
Биднэрт шин дайн хэрэгтэй гоо гэж энэ заяа. Өөрсдийнхөө экономик дэвшлүүлэхийн тулд.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we could get another one going, right? Sure. But like, I feel like we need a shorter one, right?
The chances are quite high that even with U.S. involvement, it would be impossible to achieve what Israel has set out as its strategic objective of eliminating, finally, this nuclear capability. And even if it was successful, if they were able to take out the facility and other facilities completely, there's still the matter of Iran's intellectual property. They figured this out once. They can figure it out again. The program.
Yeah, that's why you blow it up again. That's why you have to blow it up again, kill the guys that do it again, and you just keep doing that till it stops. Pretty simple. Yeah, I mean that's the reason why they haven't built one. Like, we've literally done this for 30 years. Like in my opinion, I think that if Iran was completely uninterrupted, they probably would have built a nuclear bomb a long time ago. And it's only because we've been intentionally blowing up their shit, killing their scientists, and setting them back with like cyber attacks, bombs, etc. They would have already built this. I mean, we've already been doing this for a while. Grok said nukes in 2015 of no intervention. Maybe, but here's the thing: without foot on the ground, these bombings wouldn't stop them. They just rebuild with better defended underground facility. Well, then you bomb that one too. I mean, like that, but that at least sets them back.
Be delayed several years, even a decade.
I mean, they're limping along anyway, right? Because the thing is, like the what do you call it? The government over there, nobody likes them. Like nobody likes them, and so like they're on a timer, and like as soon as that timer's over, they're done.
But it's only through political means and diplomacy that the challenge of Iran's nuclear weapons can be dealt with in a final and lasting way.
The Israeli military says its jets attacked the nuclear facility at Iraq, which it says Iran could have used to try to develop nuclear weapons. An Iranian state news agency says no major damage was done. I want to bring in our international security editor, Nick Payton-Walsh, joining me now. Nick, this attack was during a series of raids overnight. We've seen the evidence that...
Nobody likes Putin. He's been there forever. I think that a lot of people in Russia like Putin, actually. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, what is... I mean, I think a lot of them like it. I'm pretty sure. They do. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Do they have a choice? Well, I mean, in the same way that Iranians have a choice, yeah.
At least the ballistic weapons capability still exists in Iran. We've seen the evidence of that where Nick is in Beersheba in Israel. So there are still military and nuclear targets, one assumes, for the IDF. From those that you are speaking to and your sources, what can we expect next from Israel in Iran, particularly based on the latest rhetoric from Israeli officials, including the defense minister?
Look, I think the defense minister's comments will raise again the issue of the decapitation of the Iranian government. But I should just put in some context there that even if they did take the extraordinary decision or have the capability to kill the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, that doesn't suddenly spell an overnight end to the theocratic government of the Ayatollahs there. That he will be replaced possibly by his son, who appears to be doing some of the work already. And so it isn't a dictatorship in which the disappearance of one individual means everything crumbles. It's not Syria's Assad's Syria. And so I think it's important to...
Well, then you just kill two of them. I mean, like, you just... what a dumb answer. Like, okay, wow. Well, if we kill one guy, all right, well, then what do you need to do? Like, and also, by the way, I don't even think we should do this to begin with. Like, I don't. Yeah, what about 2? What about 3? What about 4? You know, whack-a-mole? No, eventually it works. Yeah, readjust theocracy to keep coming. Yeah, it's gotta happen from the people there. Like, I mean, we can't be going over there and blowing up their guys. Like, Israel can do whatever the fuck Israel wants to do. But, like, in terms of the U.S., I feel like we've had our share. Like, we did this with Saddam Hussein. We did it with Gaddafi. I think there was somebody, I mean, we installed the Shah, I'm pretty sure, in 1953. So, in Iran. So, like, we've tried this multiple times. Like, we just need to stay the fuck out of it. Yeah, stay the fuck out of it. Like, get rid of their nukes and then leave. Let them do what they're going to do.
Манайхан ер нь Америкийн ихэнх хүмүүсийн хоолоо гэж бол хэлж болно.
On needs to have a civil war and just overthrow their government. That doesn't work. Yeah, I mean,
that's
what they have to do, right?
Стримерүүдээс хоёр дахь нь байна.
Iran has massive arsenal of ballistic missiles and drones stockpiled they barely touched, all spread out in underground facilities. They're very prepared for a long, drawn-out war and can wait patiently until Israel's interceptor missiles supply is depleted. Maybe, but I think that also, like, I mean, I don't think that Iran has some master plan. And the reason why is because if they had a master plan, the people that were deciding that master plan would have been able to avoid getting killed. Like, if you keep killing all of their top guys, it's pretty obvious who has the intelligence advantage. Right? I mean, really. I mean, it's pretty obvious that Israel has the intelligence advantage. So the fact that they have, like, this extravagant big thing, yeah, sure.
Put any move like that within that kind of context, it may well indeed exacerbate or...
Do you actually believe that they will tell you if they're really dead? Yeah, I saw the video and there was like a fucking missile and it showed like a guy and then the missile hit and he wasn't there anymore. I feel like he's probably dead. Like, I would assume he dead. I mean, maybe he parried it, but like, I don't think that works the same way it does in like Elden Ring. Why is Israel allowed to have nukes, but Iran can't? Because Israel's on our side and Iran's not. I mean, that's really the answer. Like, Israel denies IAEA inspections and refuses to sign the United Nations non-proliferation treaty. Iran has. I also think, by the way, I don't think we should let them do that. I think we should force them to either come to an agreement or at least come to some form of capitulation, right? Like, I agree with that too. Yeah, Iran's a terrorist state. Yeah, sure. Also, Israel doesn't threaten anybody with nukes. Well, I don't think anybody such advanced technology and nuclear weapons and other is they would become Iran. It said multiple times that if they had a bomb or if they
Okay.
Hello, gamers. Welcome to Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. The developers of this game were kind enough to send me out a whole entire box of stuff. Editor Becky can cut and show some of that unboxing stuff now. I've heard a lot of comparisons thrown at this game comparing it to Skyrim. How true are they? Probably not that true. Probably everybody's always throwing around comparisons to Elder Scrolls games. It's the new Morrowind. No, it's not. No, it's not. It never is. It's the new Skyrim. No. All right, they sent me a really cool email, though. They were like, hey, Juve, we're finishing up work on our huge passion project, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, a true open-world RPG, often called the indie Skyrim or Polish Skyrim. Even the developers are doing it. Your passion for Skyrim is definitely shining bright. Just wait till you hear about the builds you can craft in our game. I'm sure you'll find them familiar. Wink, wink. I think the developers of this game are, I think they're hitting on me. Considering your channel and the type of content, you liking Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon is almost as sure as death and taxes. Dude, I love these guys. They are hyping this up for me and I'm already getting excited. Tainted Grail, Collector's Edition, number 123 out of 2,500 to be precise. Hold on. Box is here. I don't have a professional unboxing setup, so bear with me. Bam.
Damn.
Poster. This looks like a high quality menu of a 5-star restaurant. Not that I have a lot of experience going to those. Okay, this is cool. It's like a concept art flip book, I think. Or wait, I think it's supposed to be like a notebook. This is the concept art. Okay, this is the concept art booklet. A magnet. I will be sticking that on my fridge. Looks like a coin of some kind. We'll flip it heads or tails. I don't know, maybe I can use this on stream and people can gamble with it. It does look cool though. It looks like the fucking open. Gamer has encountered Ziploc. Look at that. Oh, oh my God, is this a mouse pad? Dude, what is happening? This is the coolest thing I've ever gotten. Look at that.
Ooh. Ooh. A mouse pad.
Like the whole map of the game. And it has that fresh mouse pad smell. Dude, I'm ready to taint my grail. Boobs. Some guy with armor. Does that mean this game has boobs? Predictions before even playing the game. This is the main bad guy. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. By the way, for the record, this was not sponsored by Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. They just sent me a bunch of cool stuff and said, hey, give the game a try. We don't have any rules, which I respect that. I like that. You get extra points from me in a system where the points have no value. But this is great. You know, they gave me review access to the game so I can play it early and hopefully have a video out. By the way, for Juve++ enjoyers out there, this is a Juve++ exclusive, which means I'm not recording this on stream because legally not allowed to.
Exclusive.
I played a full 43 minutes of this bad boy 2 years ago, so my memory no longer intact. I want to play this for like 10 or so hours, see how it turns out. I think it could be fun.
Arthur led the great escape from the homelands, where our kingdoms were ravaged by the plague. Leading people to Avalon, he started the age of conquest and took the island from
old school.
Is King Arthur like a historical?
Using the mysterious powers of Menhirs, together with Merlin, they cleansed the land of the weirdness.
Weirdness.
They could do the same.
Old legends are gone, and the weirdness is creeping.
And the weirdness is creeping.
Weirdness. All right, so the goal of this game: eliminate every weirdo that you run into. Character creation. Let's go. Muscular. It feels like an insult towards muscular folks. I'm with the regular folks, not one of those jacked weirdos. You know, if I really tussle things up, there, how we looking? Yeah. Who's the one guy that cheated on Sabrina Carpenter? I shouldn't know this information. He kind of looks like that guy. One boy goes to Coachella one time. The type of tats they're getting afterwards. I'm like that. I'm like that, Mom. It's not a phase. Let's bring him back from our Oblivion series. It's just in phase in a new game. Okay, here we go. We got 3 difficulty options for players who want to experience a story with minimal challenge.
Adventure.
I'm a gamer. Veteran. A step up in difficulty. Enemies hit harder and show less mercy. Survival mode. Ooh, when survival mode is enabled, you can only save at bonfires and death ends the game. Recommended only for the most hardcore players. I would like to experience this game a little bit. I don't need pain right now. Maybe I want to subscribe to some pain later, but I will just take the standard Taint Grail and play on veteran.
Rise and shine.
Rise and shine.
All right, here we go. We got an Oblivion-esque prison start with the guy chirping us at the gate.
Look, we just have to get this over and done with. What were you doing in the forest when the red shield?
I
love this. Okay, I'm giving it points here because I like in games when they do that whole thing where it's like, all right, your start is ambiguous, but what brought you here? Staying silent doesn't give me any points. Does that like actively harm me? Does it hard me? Does it make me hard? I don't know. You know, I'm so tempted. I'm tempted to either go with magic or stealth archer. Stealth usually lets us bamboozle and kind of be... Yeah, I'm gonna go sneak.
A common thief. I knew it. So, are you one of those who sneak in and steal whatever's valuable when nobody's looking? Or one of the cowards
What's poppin', bro?
From a distance?
Both. All of the above. But we picked that one. We can start with an even bigger buff to sneak and to theft. Not a lot of bonuses to combat. Give me a bow.
I guess we'll have to start with breaking your fingers. Now, unfortunately, we'll have to start.
Later. Good timing and use of the arrow there. I appreciate the thematic entrance.
I know.
He's all blurry when he moves around.
뭐
Is that
유태고요?
intended?
찬스테고요.
Maybe he's supposed to be blurry, but I can't tell.
Bruh.
Jail cell key.
신통탐
Got
게스트.
it. Mead arrow. Does it strip his clothing off? This is going to be big points to this game if it does. Okay. Mega bonus points for that. Why are my tattoos? What happened to me? I don't remember customizing myself with scars everywhere. And it is right hand, left hand. You guys know I'm a huge fan of right hand, left hand. I love it. Mana regen, stamina regen, attack speed, casting speed, dash speed, movement speed, multiplier, no changes, dash counter. Okay, so it's somewhat like Souls. Your gear equipment affects how you can do stuff in combat. Don't freak out. I'm gonna move me slightly above the resource bars. Does that look okay there?
Send me the sketch.
I'm dying, I'll just look down and scream. Ethan, search. Poor Ethan. Man, I don't know why just giving him a name makes me feel bad. Yeah, shout out to anybody out there named Ethan. All right, health potion. 7 commandments once again. I don't think I need a refresher. A note written in blood.
Okay, toss.
When who finds this
mana,
note, you need to
stamina.
run before they start your treatment.
Regular
make
souls.
you realize you need to gnaw your own legs off. Promise you are not sick. Even if you are, will not cure you. Save yourself as I did. I stole a small glass jar when they weren't looking, broke it into tiny shards, and swallowed them all. Soon I will be free.
Gameplay үзье явна. Gameplay үзье явна. Реклам. Draft хийж битээ бодлож авцгаараа манайх.
Met de Check and Smile van Telenet check je meteen of je wifi tip-top werkt. Doe hem nu in de My Telenet app.
Камтрахаар бол юугаа явуулаад тэгээд сонирхож үзье л та броос. Хамтарч болно шүү дээ, bro.
One down. Dead. Dodge. Welcome to Pound Town, motherfucker. I've got my meat battering ram and I'm ready for your gates. I gotta stop. The book has poisoned my mind.
Stagger хийж үзэлтэй, bro.
You'll never grab another pair of love apples again. Oh, what? Why were they called that?
Undead.
Oh, he's down. Smash. Not like that. Spoiled me. Monster blood. All right, cool.
Monster blood.
We got some thief levels. That's nice. I love use it to improve it. It's my favorite stat system in any RPG. I just like when you use individual skills and they have their own levels. It's satisfying. You can play casually. You can grind it hardcore. Ooh, I need to go back and cook. Oh, it's got an athletic skill. Notes on weirdness and mutations. He has glasses. A lot of people call him Four Eyes. I'm loving it. This is just lockpick the game. Fuck you. Could grind sneak while in here. We have a nice little buff to it at the start. Is a shovel a weapon? If that's
жоохон чанар мод талын те.
This is Minecraft. Wait, no, wrong footage. Let's try this again. This is Minecraft. Okay, seriously, editor? What are you putting on the screen? This is not Minecraft. What? You're saying it is? What do you mean, take a closer look? Wait, you're right. This is Minecraft. What the?
Elden Ring-ийг Minecraft дотор хийсэн гинэ. The journey of how I rebuilt all of the Elden Rings in the Minecraft. Created by the download for this map, like link in the description. Damn. Бүлэт Minecraft дотор Elden Ring-ийг багтаацсан байна гинэ.
So, to build all of Elden Ring, obviously we need to play it. Not just play it, but study it, observe it, and all of its magnificence. Figure out how we can make this possible in Minecraft. Let's boot it up.
The fallen leaves.
And tell a story.
The
lands between
Queen Marika the Eternal, Godwyn the Golden, the loathsome dung eater.
Okay. That was, I don't know what I just watched. But anyways, we're gonna start playing the game now. Treasure chest ahead.
45 minut thôi.
I gotta think about this one.
Minecraft
we're gonna take a break from Elden Ring and build the Church of Ella, which is the first area of the game. This is also a pretty easy build to make, with only the statue on top being a little bit complex. Let's get back to the gameplay. Yes, game, I know that I died. Thank you for telling me. Yo, is this guy spawn camping? build the Church of Ella, which is where we ended up resting.
This
was the easiest build to make so far, and there's nothing really of note except there's all these runes here. Alright, what's up with this guy? Is he gonna be a boss too? Is he gonna kill me in 2 hits? Alright, we're gonna sneak attack him. Boom! Backstab! Oh wait, wait, he actually went down in 1 hit. Wow! After this point, the game got much easier. I ran around the map for a while, taking in everything while exploring and fighting. It was a pretty nice experience, and really felt like I was on an adventure in an unfamiliar world. Oh my, who's coming to kill me now? I just want to rest. What abomination am I about to fight?
Have you heard of the Finger Maidens?
You know, that's a really weird thing to just come up to somebody and start saying that.
But you...
Энэ нөхрийн микрофон зүүн чихэн дотор гараад ий сонсогдоод байна те. Би өөрхөн зүг зүгсэн байна. Бороо чихэн сонсогдоод байна.
Are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden.
Wait, really? Holy, she's giving me her... It's the horse. It's the horse item. She's just giving me the horse. Someone's finally helping me.
It will summon
yes!
a spectral steed.
Okay, let's try it out.
Damn.
Yes, we got a horse. This is gonna make going around the map so much easier. Typical FromSoft gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. If I get a horse, they gotta give all the enemies a bigger horse to balance it out, of course. Thank you, Miyazaki. Thank you so much. So I started to realize something at this first camp. I'm going to have a lot of trouble making this world in Minecraft, and it's going to be very time consuming if I keep using the same method that I'm using right now. Elden Ring is a very big game, and there's always these little camps and little buildings and structures everywhere that invite you to explore them. We can't keep building this by itself. We have to have a plan. If we're going to successfully make this in Minecraft, we gotta go big. We gotta think big. We gotta think whole picture, whole game. So with this in mind, we're going to change how we approach the game and how we're going to build this. Here's the plan. We're going to separate the building of this entire map into 2 parts. Terrain and building. Okay. We gotta make the terrain first, which means we need to explore all of Elden Ring. After we're done with terrain, we'll start working on the builds. We also need to identify all common game assets that appear in the map, such as trees, bushes, rocks, and all the other weird things that we find. The starting zone of Elden Ring is called Limgrave, and it's defined by being a giant open plains biome with rivers and bright trees, while a gigantic golden tree looms in the background. Now, believe it or not, this tree is actually an area you can go to, and can be seen anywhere you are in the world. It also contains the craziest, most mind-blowing city I've ever seen in a video game. We'll be coming back to this giant tree later in the video. I'd be able to appreciate it better if everything wasn't trying to end me. Now, this is genuinely overwhelming for me to think about, and I had no way of observing the terrain at this point. It was going to take a miracle, or rather, finding my first map, which not only showed close to accurate topography of the terrain, but also where the major structures are. This would prove to be extremely valuable information. Little did I know, this was the beginning of a journey with many hardships. Somebody ordered the boom squad, we gotta run. Let's get out of here. Why does this dog have ultra instinct?
Minecraft ч үзэлтэй bro.
Dark Souls 3 dog.
Elden Ring-ийг ч
With
хүмүүс
this
үзсэн
horse
шүү дээ.
Melona gave. We have now arrived at the first major dungeon, Stormvale Castle. This is all building and no terrain, so I'm going to be looking to get through here as fast as possible and return later.
45 minут нэглэв.
Come over here, would you?
Ah, you look like quite the shady individual.
You're tarnished, aren't you? I wouldn't.
Forbidden Lands, which has some twisty looking trees and not much else. Let's build it in Minecraft. Pretty simple area. Past the ruins of Zamor, across the giant wall mountain. This causes us to arrive at the lower area of the mountaintops of the giants, which has some weird floaty trees. It was a simple horseback ride through this whole area. Nothing really got in my way. Easy area to skip. We then go across a giant chain, and I end up at the real mountaintops of the giants, the upper echelon. There are so many dead giants here that I actually had to make 10 variants of them to prepare the paste in the final product. This place was brutal for my level. I had to avoid the enemies because they would take me out in 1 or 2 hits. I got the map for all the areas here too, which meant we were about to reach the actual end of the Elden Ring terrain. One more horrible, awful roadblock remained in my way to completing my goal, the Fire Giant. In my opinion, this is the worst designed boss in the entire game. You can't see what he's doing, and you're stuck looking at his disgusting, disease-ridden feet the entire fight. He just starts rolling around. He's the final boss of the terrain, rolling around everywhere, like a true master of the dirt. His special power, never falling off. He was born here. He conquered it. He was molded by it. And I'm just another little ant for him to step on. And yeah, this boss actually made me rage for the first time in a video game in a very long time. My fire halberd I've been relying on, completely worthless. This is how much damage I do to him with my hardest hitting weapon. This is how much damage he does to me.
Damn.
Now, I'm level 50 at this point, but I'm pretty sure you're intended to be like level 100. The gap in level was extreme, and the only thing I upgraded were my bow to +3 and my halberd to +8. This truly felt like an impossible boss fight. For once, I couldn't cheese my way out of this either. Even with Poison, Scarlet Rot, and Black Flame, this guy just didn't want to go down. His second phase was so brutal that one mistake spelled the end of me. After 2 hours and 30 tries with a +18 Ansper Rapier, this he's done, it's over. What the hell?
2 цаг тоглосон гэж.
No! No!
Yikes!
Are you serious?
Цусыг хардаа.
He's done, he's done. He's gonna fall.
Цусыг хараач.
Hallo, ik ben Dominic van den Bril. Ik werk sinds...
Дэгтээ алчих шиг боллоо тий. Алдсан дөө.
Okay, I'm done. I need a break.
Үхэгүй.
I then proceeded to full-on crash out. I went and crashed out so badly that after another 10 tries on this, I beat him, but forgot to hit the record button. Now I'm just stuck with showing you this. Not fun at all. I absolutely hated this boss. Through sheer determination, I managed to reach the end of the Elden Ring terrain at level 55. At long last, after suffering 71 deaths through the game, we get to the Kiln of the Giants, where we reach the end of our journey, the top of the world, and at the top of the giant mountains. Our reward for this? We get to watch our maiden set herself on fire and self-delete, making us maidenless again. And that is where our journey ends, for now at least. Before we get into building the whole map, I want to note that this is not even close to the end of Elden Ring as a game. There's so much I skipped and didn't explore. There's a whole multi-part underground area, the DLC world, and underground dungeon areas, the Halig Tree, and so much more, such as Fair Mazula, which is where I ended up after the events of We'll come back to this later. But anyways, that actually covers all the main terrain for Elden Ring. We have officially gotten all the maps for all the areas, and have built common game assets for terrain in each biome. Now we have all the information we need to actually start creating the entire map of Elden Ring in Minecraft. The programs we are going to be using include Paint.net, World Painter, Amulet Editor, and of course, Minecraft. To effectively make the Elden Ring map on a 1-to-1 ratio to Minecraft, we will need to create a height map based on topography information we can get pretty accurately from all the maps we collected in-game. Now, hold on, what are height maps, you might ask? I have another video explaining it here, but basically it turns a 2D image into a 3D map using different shades of gray. So we're going to draw 20 different colors on top of an image of the actual Elden Ring map, representing 20 different heights. I want this map to be playable in survival too, which means players should be able to mine and find caves if they start digging. With this in mind, I decided to restrict the sea level to 0, so players can mine down 64 blocks if they like, leaving us with plenty of room to add more underground features such as dungeons or the Radon crater. The highest point in the game for vanilla Minecraft would be a height limit of 320.
Damn,
to compare to Elden Ring, the absolute highest points in that game being Mountaintops of the Giants and Mount Gelmir. Every other area won't even come close. With all this information and a solid plan at our disposal, we now have to come up with an equation for converting the height map to World Painter to make sure all the heights are consistent with the Minecraft game. Here it is on screen. The first step to creating this height map is removing all unnecessary features on the map. We want the sea level to be perfect black and the highest areas to be pure white. So naturally, we're going to start by removing the ocean from the image and tracing out the entire map pixel by pixel. This took me 20 hours to do, by the way. Once we're finished, we're making a few test renders of this at the top of the Giants area to test and see if the height map is converting correctly compared to its surroundings, which after a few test renders was successful. Then I used the wand tool in paint.net to systematically cut out areas that were all the exact same color, meaning their height in game was roughly the same. Constantly editing and painting over it while I had the game open on my other monitor, making sure everything to check if everything was being done properly. We rinse and repeat this extremely long process, hand painting anything that the magic wand tool couldn't identify automatically. Additionally, there were flaws in some areas of the Elden Ring map image, where the color didn't match up to the height. I had to investigate these places in game and paint it by hand. After about 200 hours of working on this image and exploring in game, I intentionally adjusted some parts, especially outside of the playable areas of the map, to make this feasible in Minecraft. I had finally created a general usable height map of Elden Ring in Minecraft. This is the world's first height map of Elden Ring, the ultimate blueprint to create the rest of the map. I could not contain my hype. Unfortunately, I was in for a very unexpected surprise. It's a brand new beginning, guys. The world's first Elden Ring map in Minecraft fully created. Coming to you hot. The ultimate Elden Ring in Minecraft is now within our grasp. Let's get to work. I imported the height map into World Painter and started meticulously sculpting the terrain, spending hours in each area, trying to get everything perfect. And let me tell you, the amount of time it took with recordings to make this was insane. Some of these recordings are 9 hours long, just to put the time sink of this into perspective. All the while, I'd be moving my character to certain areas to observe and recreate everything as accurately as possible, and I started realizing how long this was going to take. I really did not know what I was getting myself into or the sheer amount of content there was on just the surface of Elden Ring. As the days passed, I wondered if I'd ever finish this. I took breaks sometimes. Every day I'd try to put at least 6 hours into it. As the days melded together, so did my mind. At times I wanted to give up, but I kept pushing, as I was too far into this project where quitting was even an option. And so the project continued. A few times I had to redo certain parts. The true difficulty of making this was setting in. Until one day, it was starting to look like a proper map, accurate to Elden Ring. The motivation was coming back in droves. Now that I could see the end result, I continued with more haste than ever before. Elden Ring in Minecraft was closer than ever. And then, disaster struck. My World Painter file and the backup file got corrupted. I was absolutely devastated and defeated. All that time for nothing. My work deleted before my very eyes. I have to do it all again.
Damn!
If you look younger than your age, you might be one of us.
If you've never broken a single bone, you might...
Shut up.
I have to do it all again. It was time to sit down and really think about what I was doing with my life. I was more down than ever. It's over. Time to give up and throw in the towel. Universe, give me a sign. I'm lost. All that time is gone in my life. What do I do? I don't know what to do.
Oh no.
Take care to listen.
Yes, the sign. I'm listening.
You're maidenless.
What the?
Feel free to go off and die in a ditch somewhere.
You know what? Thank you, Vari, for reigniting my hatred for you. I am now motivated to complete this map, and when I finish that, I will find you. You shall die a death fitting for a villain. Let's get back to work.
Let's get
and
back.
So, thanks to my hatred of Vari, I remembered. We still weren't out of this game yet. There was a flash drive with an older, non-corrupted version. This was my ticket to completing the map. I took a break for a few months and then came back to the project. As I textured and added common game structures to it, everything started coming together. In a storm of work and new creative motivation, the world's first full Elden Ring map in Minecraft was born. Everything looked better than I had ever imagined. Even someone who has never played Minecraft before could instantly recognize every place in the original Elden Ring game. I had to make quite a few tweaks to the map to get everything just right, and just like that, I uploaded the map, and everything was good. The journey of this project was over, I thought. I had accomplished what I wanted to do, and it was time to move on to the next project. Surely, nobody would really care too much about some guy making Minecraft maps as a hobby. I mean, hey, I've uploaded gigantic projects that are even bigger than this one on here before.
Damn.
It might get some views, but overall, I don't think people really care. My work here is done. It's time to take my leave and ride off into the sunset on my Minecraft torrent.
There. $2,000 цаг гэж байгаа юм байна.
And this, what's he doing? Is to go even further beyond.
Damn. Capital.
Okay, we disable gravity. We're gonna go down and wait. This doesn't look right. Where are all the houses? How did I just die? I have no death on. What do you mean? I have no idea what's happening. I think I just broke the game. No, go away. Shut up.
But you,
Go away. Shut up.
of maiden to aid you in your search.
It's just warp the window. Why is it burned down? Why is the tree on fire? Why is the whole place sand? Where did Lendell go? Finally, why was that so annoying? Okay guys, if you're wondering why I just suddenly started cheating, it's because I want to see a overhead view of Lendell, so I need this tool to kind of fly around. This allows me to get a better read and sense of proportion on the build, so I'm not just cheating for no reason. To build Lendell, we will need to pull out all the stops. Every tool, every method will need to be pulled out from my building arsenal. We're going to have to use some very unorthodox methods if we want to succeed in creating this. Let's start by getting a bird's eye view of Lendell. I'm going to run around everywhere and just take mental notes of everything in my head. So I started walking around and began mapping out and studying Lendell since it's a very confusing level. I also got a special tool called Ninja Ripper, which would allow me to extract 3D models from Elden Ring and drop them into a 3D program called Blender, which after doing a few tweaks, I could then convert it to Minecraft through this very lengthy process I described in this other video. And also this video. After that, I shape and size it in a voxelizer and paste it into Minecraft using a program called Amulet. With this long and jank process, I was able to get a rough textureless 3D model of Lendell in perfect ratio in Minecraft. However, there's one major problem. The height limit of Minecraft is 320 blocks, and Lendell in the game is an extremely vertical city. If we convert this perfectly into Minecraft, the height of the taller buildings actually exceed Minecraft's height limit by a small margin. Additionally, the area where Lendell was meant to be built on the terrain is at Y level 170, meaning if Lendell is made at a 1-to-1 ratio on the current map, it will be cut off by the height limit. So, how do we work around this? Easy. We're going to place Lendell starting at negative 64 blocks under the surface in another area of the map. This will allow us to avoid height issues and also give us infinite sizing to build the main city. We're going to wall it off like in the main game and add a command block that teleports you to the main city at the Draconic Tree Sentinel entrance. The next problem is the scale and size of the Erd Tree. The original Erd Tree converts the entire sky of Elden Ring and is so extremely tall that it would exceed Minecraft's height limit 100 times over if made accurately. Additionally, it will cause a lot of lag for SMP players if we compress a giant tree over the whole world. So we need a solution. I'll come back to this later. What really matters is, where do I even start making the main city in the new area? Even with all these tools and research on my side, this was too big of a project to do by myself. This is when I started looking online for help and realized someone had actually started this project already in the Conquest mod of Minecraft. A legendary builder who had spent the time sizing this out to perfection. This builder's name is Man of Dutch. He created this version of modded Lendel in the Conquest mod of Minecraft using an amazing amount of detail. The problem is, this was built in a heavily modded version of Minecraft, meaning I couldn't use this in my project.
On the edge of our galaxy is a conflict where only one thing matters.
Let's get to work. Or can I? Well, you see, it's still made of blocks. I can size out the houses using vanilla blocks and add it back with perfect size. So this logically is a starting point. I want to note I couldn't fit all the building in this recording because the city was just way too large to fit. So we're going to be skipping over a lot of the creation process for this. Even with all these techniques, a lot of the build that I originally got wasn't finished. So I actually had to merge unfinished parts with the original build and size it accordingly. After lots of work, the city ended up being the largest city I've ever created in Minecraft, sized at a massive 1500 by 1200 blocks.
Damn.
And this isn't even counting the Earth Tree, which I later decided a solution would be to take a fan-made 3D model of the Earth Tree from the game and remove the leaves from it, and then compress the top of it heavily to just be barely under the height limit. I then added leaves, glowstone, and yellow stained glass to it. I also built Morgoth's arena, and the final product looked insane. This truly is an amazing arena that definitely has infinite possibilities for developers in Minecraft. And at long last, Lendel was created.
Damn. Amr.
We'll come back and improve Lendel even more later. Lendel has a whole underground area, and a lower part that I just didn't have the time to fully complete. There's also the exit section to the Forbidden Lands, and many more areas I wasn't able to cover for now. Moving on to the next highlight, the Halig Tree. Probably the second biggest build in Elden Ring, maybe aside from Farum Azula. Conveniently, this was actually commissioned out to us a few years ago. Major credit of this goes to Ewanfix, who made this with immaculate detail. This will get pasted into the ocean over here.
Damn.
Let's take a quick tour of it. So in game, you spawn here and you go through the level, traveling to houses.
Copy paste хийгээд болоо өстэй.
Here's the Loretta knockoff enemy arena. And when you end up going down to the Halig Tree, you enter the city, you fight off a bunch of enemies, go down here through the city, and eventually you get to Malenia's arena. Some cuts in the level had to be made due to size, but overall this is very accurate and probably the coolest looking build on the map so far. So yeah, in all honesty, I didn't expect the video to turn out this long. I had a lot more plans for this map, but Elden Ring Night Rain is coming out, and I want to go fully enjoy it. As I said at the beginning of the video, everything here is up for download in the description and helps support me to create this project and everyone else involved. If this video gets a lot of downloads, likes, and supports, I'll make a part 2 to this video where I play through and create the entire underground terrain world of Elden Ring, which will be accessible to players via Nether Portal, allowing for some extremely cool survival mechanics. And then after that, who knows, maybe I'll just go on to build the whole game. We definitely covered a huge chunk of the building process for the main game in this video. So far, anything is possible. If you're interested with helping out with this massive project and my other ongoing projects, I'm opening a building bounty system in my Discord where you can help make these dream projects a reality, and in some cases, you can get paid for building some of the stuff in Minecraft. Join our Discord and apply. I also have a Minecraft server that's basically Elden Ring and Minecraft already. If you want to come check it out, it's cosmoverse.com. I have other content about it on this channel. And as usual, like, share, and subscribe. See you guys later.
Nice. Маш сонирхолтой. China's largest parade of the new generation robots amazed US engineers. You know? За. Хятад улсын роботууд юу болоод байна? Саяны робот айгу таньдаг царай байна уу?
One of the most beautiful humanoid robots in the world named Anne recently made a public appearance. It was created by Japanese engineers from the company A-Lab with a level of realism comparable to that of a human. Anne features lifelike eyes, intricately detailed skin, natural movements, and facial expressions. This android was developed as part of the Android Personality Anne project and has become a true embodiment of Japan's pursuit to create robots that are as close to humans as possible. Anne is capable of imitating facial expressions, turning her head, moving her arms, and even interacting with people in a limited way. Her main role is to take part in public events, exhibitions, demonstrations, and to engage with people as a presentation character. And given her very beautiful and realistic facial appearance, the ability to speak freely might
Амар рекламтай юм байна.
Wacht, ik ben zo terug.
Дээр бид нар нөгөө юу рекламнаас зугатаад зурт үзэхээ байлаад интернет рүү ороод ирсэн чи интернет дотор нөгөө айдч ороод ирлээ. Тэгэхээр одоо хайчих уу? kick.com руу явах уу? Рекламгүй
machine in the world to compete with real women for men's hearts. Here is the new humanoid robot named Aeon, developed by the Swedish company Hexagon. The robot is specifically designed for work in factories, warehouses, and logistics facilities. Aeon stands approximately 180 centimeters tall and weighs around 80 kilograms. It moves on two legs combined with motorized wheels, giving it both stability and agility, along with the ability to move quickly through industrial spaces without losing humanoid mobility. Aeon is equipped with a machine vision system that includes
get that game to actually launch, and this kind of was like my second option, but all right, got a brand new game today called Vindictus Defying Fates. So I've been trying a lot of new games lately, and I mean a lot. Getting so many demos, all these events going on, so I thought I would try this one as well. So here we go. So I played for about 90 minutes and had a lot of fun with it. It's actually kind of surprising because I was going to play another game, couldn't get that game to actually launch, and this kind of was like my second option, but I'm really happy that this actually worked out because the game is a lot better than I thought it would be. I did want to say one thing before we get into the video. The likes, the views, all that stuff means a lot to me, but also just kind of sticking with me through all these different types of games I'm covering, right? A lot of variety lately. So, love you all, fam. Best audience ever. Let's go ahead and get this. All right, no opening cutscene, none of that. Just straight to the actual characters. All right, what we got here? Dual-wielding swordsman of effortless prowess, twin swords.
Twin sword.
We got Fiona.
Long sword and
shield. Or Cassandra from Soul Calibur at the sword and shield.
Damn.
Long sword and shield, resolute fortress of sword and shield. Kind of reading the bio really quick. We got the bastard sword, a dauntless princess cleaving a path through fate.
Okay.
And then we got this guy, half giant wielding a massive pillar. What in the world? That's the actual weapon? That's crazy. I think I'm gonna go with her actually.
Fiona. Okay. Texture simple хийсэн байна. Гэтэ хүмүүс дээр бараг анхаарал яасан юм шүү. Хандуулсан юм шүү. Ой шууд эхэлдэг юм. Айгуу тийм simple texture
control. Hold on. It says menu. Oh, you can select other characters. It's the same ones, right? Just switch them out.
Oh.
Let's go and see what they all look like. Kind of go down the list, I guess.
Тийм model set.
Like the design. Very cool.
Дэлхийн болохоор нэг тийм block юу байгаа зү. Нэг text.
Already seen Fiona, which I'm gonna stick with her anyways. But let's see each one. That sword is a massive. What in the world?
Damn,
all right, I'm getting some kind of like Stellar Blade, Black Desert Online vibes with the character models right now.
I
really got access to this, and like literally tomorrow it ends for me. So whatever footage I get is just what goes up on YouTube, I guess. Hopefully the combat's nice. We'll see. First time hearing about this game, so All right, let's see what happens. So this actually said skip tutorial. I'm assuming that's what we're doing right now. Got you. That was kind of cool. Can't run yet. Oh, there we go. Oh, there you go. Oh, it's funny how that happens. Most games won't actually tell you that. I'm guessing it's rather important. Why are these steps here?
Demon.
What does it go to?
Absolutely
nothing. All right. Sometimes I just play random games, and this kind of like fell into my lap. What's funny is before I began this, I tried to play another game, and it kept crashing. So I'll just like go with option number 2, which is this one. And it already looks better than the other one, which is funny.
Yes. Энийг өөр тоглоомнууд оруулжсэн л та яг ийм scene. Яг copy paste юм шиг санагдаж байна. No man. Graphic нь simplified мөртлөө айгүй гоё зохицуулж хийсэн байна.
If you need gear, Silent Marsh drops poison-resistant boots.
Реклам bros.
Ambushes in the fog.
Миний YouTube рекламыг байх бодох юм байна.
All right, lock on. We've already got that down.
Okay.
Basic attack, all squares. All right. Oh, that's a dodge. Okay.
Stamina байх юм байна. Stamina юу гэж болох юм шүү.
Yeah, the combat seems very smooth. Measured blow. All right, Ivy sweep. 1-1-1-2-2. All right, we got 1-1-1-1-2. All right.
Boss design out нэг жоохон.
I did it way too early. Failed that. Oh, I gotta wait. Wait, can I actually just like do it without even? Okay, I don't actually have to have the enemy here. Dodge, got that down. Dodge and that. All right. Guard, and then perfect guard. What you got for me? Come on. There we go. And I'm assuming this keeps going. Okay, you can just kind of go down the list and practice, I guess. Might as well exit tutorial. Let's do it. Not sure what kind of game this is, but it already looks pretty cool. This is like such a last minute thing for me, which is rare. I'm usually very organized, but this is just kind of like, it is what it is at this point. All right, Fiona's default physique. Okay, so that's just like what it is. Oh, a little bit of that Kingdom Come Deliverance too. Hold on. What is the setting for this game? Or is it just like one area? I got the door just auto opened.
You did what?
This is
if you ever need it. All right then, let's get going.
The way it's kind of set up is very, I don't know, straightforward.
The place we're headed to is the Northern Ruins Watch Post.
Яг open world биш юм шиг байна.
But if they're preparing for war, there's a good chance we'll find something there.
It's crazy how like we're playing for a little bit, really jump. Wasn't even aware this game had a jump button. There you go. Look at that floating.
Dad, they'll give you much trouble, but be careful.
All right, this is either gonna be like make or break it for me. Watch out. One thing I haven't really seen is the combat is smooth. Hold on. So what's the cooldown?
Okay, good luck, snowman.
Oh, I see it. It's going up. Assuming it gradually goes up as you attack, maybe? Hold on. Like landing, actual combat. Hold on. Any kind of combat moves doesn't seem, it's just like an overall cooldown. Got you. All right.
Yeah.
The combat is nice.
Okay.
Fate is all set in stone.
You can't change
За миний
how
хүлээж
it
байгаа тоглоом нэг дахиад нэг трейд хийсэн
I'm
байна.
not gonna lie to you folks. When I hear the word Souls-like, my eyes start to glaze over and I imagine the sweet release of death. It's the same way I feel when someone says Metroidvania or roguelike. There's nothing inherently wrong with Souls-likes, Metroidvanias, or roguelikes for the record. There's just an awful lot of them. I love a good steak, but you can't eat filet mignon every day. Sometimes you need some sushi, a taco plate, hell, even just a burger. A little variety goes a long way. So when I got asked whether I wanted a 1 or 2 hour appointment with Wu-Chang, Fallen Feathers, I only signed up for an hour, but I was allowed to play for 2, and I'm really, really glad I did. Wu-Chang may be a Souls-like, but it's got unique ideas, and by the time I put down my controller, I knew I wanted to see more of what it has to offer.
Okay, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers.
Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers sets itself apart from the jump with its unique
Feathers,
art and setting. It takes place in the land of Shu during the latter part of the Ming Dynasty. That single choice sets what I played of Wu-Chang apart from just about every other Souls-like. Most games in this genre aren't shy about their dark fantasy aspirations. In theory, that should mean everything looks a little different. In reality, that means most games look like Dark Souls, which means that most games really look like Berserk. I like Berserk, but it's not great when it looks like everything stepped out of one of Kentaro Miura's panels. Wu-Chang's dark fantasy, make no mistake, but its setting means a lot of what I saw looks and feels unique and colorful. The story's got an interesting setup, too. You play as Wu-Chang, a pirate with a nasty bout of amnesia. In my demo, she woke up without knowing who she was or what was going on. Unfortunately for her, amnesia might be the least of her problems. You see, Wu-Chang has contracted a disease known as the feathering. It starts small. Feathers form on your limbs, but as the disease progresses, you lose your memories, go mad, and undergo a, quote, monstrous transformation, unquote. There's no known cure, but that doesn't mean our girl is just gonna lie down. She's healthier than most, so she's going to look for a cure. The problem is, once most people realize you've contracted the feathering, they'll attack you on sight. It's a neat reason for why just about everyone in Wu-Chang, though not all, there are plenty of people still willing to help you, will attack you as soon as they see you. And the feathering isn't entirely a curse, it also gives Wu-Chang access to very powerful magic. Unlike most other Souls games, you don't have to equip or spec into magic for it to be useful, it just is. That's pretty slick. The other big thing Wu-Chang does is make each of its weapons unique. Each one is different in very subtle ways. The Great Axe in my demo could block, but parrying was a technique that was essentially reserved for a longsword. Other weapons didn't have either ability, opting instead for attack skills to lay on the hurt. And you can't just fire off those skills any time, either. Using them, aside from block and parry, which you always have, provided you've equipped a weapon with them, takes charges, which you build by pulling off perfect dodges or parries. Nailing perfect dodges and parries also charges your magic. Wu-Chang isn't quite as fast as Bloodborne, but it's faster than most Souls-likes, and encourages you to be aggressive to build those charges. The dance is still here against bosses, and you shouldn't charge them blindly, but Wu-Chang is less about waiting for enemies to whiff an attack and punishing them, and more about forcing them to swing at you, building those charges, and then cashing in for big damage, either through weapon abilities, magic, or attacks that deal damage while switching to your other equipped weapons. It's a nice change of pace from traditional Souls-likes, and forces you to take risks to gain access to your best stuff. Even leveling up is its own thing. Instead of dumping points into your core stats, you fill out a skill tree for everything from your weapons to upgrading your flasks. If you want specific stats, you'll get them through the armor you equip. There's no shortage of outfits in Wu-Chang, from the traditional to the risque, and there's no shortage of fan service in Wu-Chang. But you're not just playing Fashion Souls or looking at core stats here. You'll always want to make sure you're picking the right resistances. If you're losing to enemies with swords, you might want some slashing resistance. Getting smashed by a big hammer, bludgeoning resistance is the way to go. Magic got you down, get some magic resistance in you. These choices matter, and I appreciate that your gear matters, even if I could have done without some of the fan service. There are still bonfires, here they're shrines, and resting at them, which in Wu-Chang is known as entering the dream, still respawns any enemies you've defeated. Even that, though, isn't necessarily safe. The first time I entered the dream in my demo, I was attacked by a large bird-like boss. I lost the fight that followed, but when I went back to the dream, the boss wasn't there. there. I couldn't tell you what the deal with that was, but it was interesting, and I kept wondering when, or if, I would get another shot at him. I didn't, but I'm interested in getting another crack at him and figuring out what that stuff is all about. Speaking of bosses, I did get to square off with 3 of them during my time with Wu Chang, and none of them corresponded to the big dude in armor stereotype. From Software got that right with Artorias the Abyss Walker, and they, and many others, have leaned on similar versions of that fight since. Often imitated, never duplicated, as the saying goes. Wu Chang isn't interested in sitting down at that table, though. Instead, everyone felt very different. The first was a masked man with a halberd. He definitely had a range advantage on my longsword and great axe combo, but that was fine with me. I wanted him to swing at me so I could build charges and then use my great axe to lay down the law. This boss took me quite a few attempts, mostly because I think I had an opening when I really didn't, and get cooked for trying to attack when it wasn't actually my turn. Once I got his patterns down though, I was building charges and spending them efficiently, dodging through his attacks and landing big swings of my own. And when I needed to back off, I could cover myself with magic. The second fight was against someone who seemed to have been transformed by the feathering. This was more acrobatic. The boss would leap into the air and attack from range, forcing me to time my dodges to avoid projectiles and keep from committing until I absolutely had to. I didn't find it nearly as hard as the first. It took me just a couple of tries, but I did appreciate the change of pace. The last fight, that last fight. Only one person at the entire event beat the final fight in the Wu Chang demo, and I'm sad to say it wasn't me. While the other 2 fights were all about dodging, this one against a woman wielding a sword forced me to parry. Even with the right weapon and good timing, she was a difficult fight. Incredibly fast, aggressive, and damaging. Every time I tried to back off to heal, she was in my face. Even when I parried her successfully, I had to be careful. I often only had time for a single counterattack before she'd hit me again. It was a brutal fight, and I didn't win, but I appreciated how hard it was, so I'd have to change my strategy for each boss. I can't wait for another crack at her from the comfort of my couch. And that sums up my feelings with Wu Chang as a whole, really. I got a ton of time with it, far more than anything else I played since Game Fest, and I left satisfied with what I'd seen, but I was also excited to see more. Not bad for a Souls-like, right? For more, check out our previews of Invincible Versus and Ninja Gaiden 4, and for everything else in the world of Souls-likes, Metroidvanias, roguelikes, and other video games, keep it here at IGN.
Okay, nice. Энэ боссыг харагдаад байна. Боссын барыг чийжчихлээ. Elden Ring-ийн нөгөө савартай босс гэдэг чинь тэрнтэй адилхан юм. Окей. Нэг юм бууддаг зэвсэг байна. Нүрэ бууддаг. Damn. Nice. Staggerтэй. Бодо буудах ч юм уу. Тийм байна. Болж чинь. Таалагдж байна. За энэ нөхөр нь картун хийдэг нөхөр заяа. Night Rain тоглосон картун хийсэн.
Skip.
Skip me.
We're gonna skip it.
Skip it. Jak to lepsze. Damn. Bo jak to leders?
Thanks.
It's a fire! Run!
Энэ бичлэгийг үзэж байгаа дараа намайг Elden Ring-ийн Night Run гаргахаар яг адилхан харагдсан зөө. Яг дөрөвдөж чийсэн. Охам юу болчихсон. Хамгийн сүүлэн бас. Яг дөрөвсөн шүү. Бра. Nice. New Souls like Hell is Us is amazing, né?
Hello everyone and welcome to Hell is Us. I don't even know what kind of game this is. What I
I
thought
don't
when I
want
saw it a
minutes.
long time ago is Souls-like. Maybe it is. Anyways, we're here to play it. It looks really cool. The style was amazing. I just saw there's a demo out, so we're gonna check it out for the first time ever. But yes, welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well today, staying safe and sound. And thank you so much for joining me. And thanks for checking
Souls-like
out the store. Got some very cool designs over there. Also got a paid turn if you guys want early access to videos. Or support me and also, you know, vote for games in the future. But now enough chit chat. It's time to get into this. So strap yourselves in, grab yourself a little snack, some water, and without further ado, let's begin.
Help us.
This game is a work of fiction. Really? I don't believe you. Warning, our game has no map. What? So all I know about this game is that the style and overall design choice for everything is insane. Guys, strapped to a chair. Good.
It's
a true serum. A true...
what the?
Experimental. Ew, man. Hello? Dune 3?
I would have tortured you, but my employers insist I use their concoction.
Uh-huh.
Now, let's begin. How did you get into Hadia?
Hadia.
The Yellow Brick Road.
He's kind of cool looking though.
Apparently.
Fuck.
Needs more time.
Uh-huh.
While it's going through your system, curious about something. Why did you do it?
Answers.
Anyone in my shoes would have done the same.
Unknown language. Probably decipherable. Maybe later. Some graves. Actually got photos as well, some people. Gustav, Otis, and Arlo. Damn, the game actually looks so nice though. It actually runs really well as well. What's this then? A manual save. Okay, open up. What's this picture? This guy just sat down the corner. Conversations topics can be chosen based on datum. Can also reveal more of that by talking to people. Left side of the screen is main objective. Right side is optional stuff. Okay, well hello there, gentlemen.
You must.
Alright, well let's go.
Ямар их юм ярьдیں те.
Ready for full service production and prototype.
За энэ чимээ гаргаад байвал банд болчих магадгүй.
Car. I want to try the combat and stuff. It's a cow. Hey cow. This is the fence. So we can open that into the forest. Choose that. Yeah, look, it's like, it's so Resident Evil-ish. Got some chimes in a tree here. Weird. Also, what are these holes that
Souls like
little dugout holes like that. Maybe not dugout. Maybe it's alien shit. Who knows? We've seen a few of them. I love the music though, man. So cool. Tractor. Oh, here it is. The APC. Okay. This guy's dead. Trade. Do you want to die? So we can talk about though.
Found me. Epsilon 12, right?
I don't know.
I can't see shit. I have blood in my eyes. He must have honed in on my distress beacon.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I wonder what they get jumped by. Where's the key? The sergeant has the key. He's inside with the team. Oh boy. Guess we're gonna see if we can find that guy. Probably dead on the floor crying. And we steal it from the thing and then we see some monsters. What even are the things though? I don't remember shit. It was like, give me a little bit of Warframe vibe. But honestly, I don't remember much of what I saw in the trailer. And we can run up that way, but wait. Can we just enter? We probably can't. It's a weird ass door. Look at that. So, we've gotta find the sergeant. This, can we open this? This is probably our exit. Alright, well, we've just gotta run up that way. Another hole. We've got exits on a bunch of trees as well. Even if you blockheads find the key, I bet you'll never find the treasure chest. The blue paint is harder to see than the red. The writing of a child is an equipable item. So we can do that. Kid, give it to me. Use that. Behold a magnificent treasure, but an ancient mechanism. All that symbol was on another. The last save point. Save. Alright, can I just get a weapon
Souls
now, man?
like
Everyone's still on the floor crying. Lights. Yeah, here we go. What are we gonna see?
The boss in Larry. Souls like ямар ч төстэй малга.
Death.
Character design was...
Wait, he's just a little chicken duck. That's not a chicken duck. It's a guy. See, this is what I mean. Like, wasn't it like no face, guys? Yeah, it's like whole face. Ooh, that's vertigo shot. So this can't hurt them. We need something made of their materials, probably. What the hell is happening? Huh? No, what's screaming? Fists will do. What? Is he stupid? I don't like how it's screaming. It's like hell itself in there. Holy shit. God damn. Who's this legend? Oh, cool weapon. Oh, yeah. She looks cool as shit.
So
we gotta kill that thing. Like a core. Did it.
Дэгтэл тусалгаа. Эндүү кино гардаг.
Oh. Bam. That's so cool. It was all before we get caught and interrogated, right? Like they kind of show it. And, we can't, like, it's just souls. It is. We got stash on that. X attack and Y is what the fuck? Was this shaky? Oh, that's heavy. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay, it's very, very stiff. But, you know, it is responsive and it works. I like the sword glowing, though. Very cool. Also, do we need some stuff up here? Oh, 3 things. Again, unequip that. Put on medkits. We got 5 of those. Okay, so when you take damage, it also lowers your max. Sinners will fall into the fires of hell. Something. Two-headed serpent. Fires of hell. Their movement is so...
Aha.
Objective captured.
Objective captured.
It's so weird, like, went from like a guy that's like, oh, I'm gonna hit you like once or twice, to like this shit. What's going on, man? It's so cool. This is Death Stranding. Wait, weapons level up? Nice. Another good system. That's the other thingy. Okay, might head back down then. Might as well as a demo, and you know, it's compatible with progress, so that's good. Oh wait, we are there. This is broken now. Okay. Oh, because things are everywhere now. Charge! I don't know why that's no damage. I guess it's maybe... Oh, this has been crumbled. Never mind. Sorry about that. Wasn't me, though. Well, now we can get out of here, but we're not doing that just yet. Still check out stuff over here. We got another thing here. No relevant items. Gotta have 2 things. All this puzzle-ish stuff has been very, very simple and not hard at all to figure out, but it seems like, you know, it's obviously very optional. You can save a lot of time not doing it, but doing it also seems to grant some cool rewards and lore, so I think it's worth it. Also, I was gonna say he's probably gonna come alive. Hello. Quite a few guys. You may play on hard mode though. I think that was hard mode. These enemies do no damage. Like, I can just take every hit I get. Like, I get hit by that. What does that do? 1 damage? Okay. And then all back. Music's so good.
Okay.
Nope. See a dodge?
This German machine could power the entire planet. За дэлхийг тэр чигт.
This machine looks like a twisted sculpture from a sci-fi movie, but it just shook the entire energy industry.
Okay.
What's happening right now here, it's the cover of the Chrysler that's being built here that you see up top there.
In a quiet German town, scientists have done the unthinkable, keeping superheated plasma stable for 8 minutes straight.
Plasma
so well-behaved plasma, and the difference to before is that we would have to sit and watch this for 8 minutes.
That's longer than any fusion reactor of its kind, and they're not even at full power yet.
Achieved fusion ignition, and that is creating more energy from fusion reactions.
While the world waited for France's massive ITER project, Germany quietly raced ahead with something different, a bizarre-looking machine called the Wendelstein 7X. It could bring us clean, limitless energy. No meltdowns, no carbon, just raw power. And now, the world is finally paying attention.
This is one of the most impressive scientific feats of the 21st century.
Damn, 7X. Tucked away in the small coastal town of Greifswald, Germany, sits a machine that could change everything. It's called the Wendelstein 7X.
The
and it doesn't look
Wendelstein
like any reactor
7X
you've seen before. Shaped like a metallic pretzel from another dimension, this reactor isn't about splitting atoms. It's about fusing them. After nearly 2 decades of construction, this experimental device came to life. And in 2022, it stunned the scientific community by holding plasma for 8 minutes. That's not just a record, it's a revolution.
So we do want to find out if we've made a plasma.
Most people expected breakthroughs from big projects like France's ITER. But while they were still building, Germany had already switched on a different kind of machine, a stellarator. Where others saw complexity, German engineers saw potential. The W7X was their bet. An expensive, risky, high-precision gamble. And now, it's paying off. This isn't some flashy startup or overhyped lab demo. It's real, and it's running. And though the public barely noticed, those in the energy world certainly did. Because if this strange machine works, the energy game may never be the same. Fusion versus fission. Nuclear energy isn't new, but the kind we've used for decades, fission, comes with baggage. It splits atoms, generates power, but also leaves behind dangerous waste. Long-lived, hard to store, risky if things go wrong. Think Chernobyl, think Fukushima. Fusion flips the script. Instead of splitting atoms, it fuses them, just like the sun. The result? Immense energy. No carbon emissions, no meltdown risk. And the waste? Minimal and short-lived. Fusion uses hydrogen isotopes, common, light, and found in water. When fused, they produce helium, a harmless gas. No toxic leftovers, no weapons-grade material. Safety is built into the physics. If something goes wrong, the reaction stops. It's like trying to keep a candle lit in a hurricane. One gust and it's gone. That's why fusion has been called the holy grail of energy. But for 60 years, progress was painfully slow. The joke? Fusion is always 30 years away. Until now. Germany's W7X isn't just chasing fusion, it's catching it. And unlike traditional reactors, it might just be the first design that's truly ready to deliver clean power, without the risks that haunted nuclear for decades. Global fusion race. The race for fusion isn't a one-nation sprint. It's a global marathon filled with giants. The United States has the National Ignition Facility and SPARC. China boasts its East Tokamak. The UK runs JET and MAST. South Korea is busy with K-Star. And then there's ITER, a $20 billion behemoth rising in southern France. Each of these projects hopes to crack the code of fusion. Most follow the same blueprint. A donut-shaped machine called a tokamak. It's the design everyone trusts. Safe, predictable, familiar. Then came Germany. Instead of following the herd, they built something else. Something stranger. Something harder. A stellarator. While tokamaks are symmetrical and easier to model, they have a flaw. They need an electric current running through the plasma to stay stable. That current is tricky. It wobbles. It fails. Stellarators skip the current. They twist their magnetic fields into complex shapes that can, in theory, hold plasma steady forever. But they're a nightmare to build. Most countries gave up. Too complicated, too expensive, too ambitious. Not Germany. They poured in the time, the money, the precision. And now, the Wendelstein 7X is proving that the underdog may have had the better plan all along. Stellarator gamble. Choosing the stellarator wasn't just bold, it was risky. For decades, the world walked away from this design. Too complex, too unpredictable, too expensive. But Germany leaned in. While others refined the tokamak, German physicists and engineers went deep into the math, and deeper into the unknown.
For a long time, scientists have believed nuclear fusion to be the greenest answer.
They spent over 1 million hours designing the Wendelstein 7X, ran supercomputer simulations, tweaked magnetic fields into bizarre, beautiful forms, built machines. That moment changed everything.
Damn.
8 minutes of high-performance plasma. Temperatures are hitting 20 million degrees Celsius. Strong confinement, high density, and all without melting down. This wasn't just a new record. It was a message. Fusion no longer had to be a burst. It could be a sustained flame. And here's the kicker.
Damn.
The reactor wasn't even running at full power. It was using a temporary cooling system, a placeholder. The real system is still on the way. Once upgrades are complete, scientists expect longer runs.
If we achieve everything to put all the elements together to make fusion happen, then we have an abundant, clean, CO2 neutral, climate neutral energy source.
More heat, more control. The triple product, a fusion metric combining temperature, density, and confinement time, was approaching the threshold needed for net energy. No other stellarator had ever come close. With this run, Germany didn't just break a record. They broke a belief that fusion had to be short, unstable, and unscalable. Now, the world is watching. Because this wasn't a lucky shot, it was a preview. And the next chapter? It could be even hotter. Why it matters. Fusion has always been a dream. Clean power, no emissions, no disasters, just pure star-like energy. But for decades, it felt out of just sustained heat. That's the holy grail. Steady-state fusion, not burst.
Бичлэгний дундаас хамгийн бичиж чадсан саяных л юм байна.
Bursts, not flashes, but energy you can count on for power grids, for cities, for the future. And Germany's machine isn't theoretical. It's already running, already learning. It showed that complex doesn't mean impossible, that strange shapes can hold real power, and suddenly the fusion roadmap looks shorter. Fusion in France are now building stellarators with commercial ambition. Japan has even proposed a global stellarator alliance, and Germany is on board. So yes, there's competition, but there's also unity, because in the race for clean, limitless energy, everyone wins.
Okay, сонирхолтой. Pragmata first contact trailer. Юу юм бэ? What comes after dreaming?
The future.
The
It isn't just a
future.
dream. It's a promise.
Зүйлийн дараа ирээдүй ирдэг гинэ.
One we're turning into reality.
Okay.
With
What's
our
up,
third generation of Luna filament and advanced generative AI.
Okay.
We're reshaping the line between dreams and reality. We create life for
Okay,
our
digital
future.
worlds.
Delphi
Matrix.
Corporation.
Delphi Corporations, okay? Uh-oh.
Let's see about getting passed through to Earth. And why are these things trying to kill us?
I don't know. Uh-oh.
There you are. All better.
Who is you? Oh.
Patch me up.
Capcom.
I am DI03367. They are
Oh.
Hey, hang on a second.
Robot.
Don't you have a name or something? Oh, good. Get behind me.
Nice.
I think I can help.
Ooh. Okay.
Targets identified. Neutralizing threats.
Neutralizing threats.
Looks like we're gonna have to fight our way through. What the?
Bypassing first and second firewalls. Hooking control protocols.
Okay.
Initiating hack.
Ooh. A Pragmata. Okay.
Hey,
선택했다.
D.I.
I said I am DI.
Okay. Look, how about we call you Diana?
Diana?
Very sorry. 2026. дараа жил. Tom project байгаа шүү гэнэ. Хаалагдлаа. Энийг нөө. This is what it looks like when atomics collide. За энийг үзчихье заяа. Би guest 0 орчод ирэхгүй бол.
These white streaks are alpha particles, tiny, fast-moving atomic projectiles shooting through solid gold as if it weren't even there. Using a cloud chamber, I'm going to reveal the hidden paths of these particles and revisit Rutherford's groundbreaking experiment in a whole new way. In 1909, Ernest Rutherford fired atomic bullets at gold foil and made one of the biggest discoveries in physics, proving that atoms have a dense, tiny nucleus, and outside of that, they're almost completely empty space. Last month, I made a video recreating Rutherford's famous gold foil experiment. I used my vacuum chamber, some gold foil, an americium-241 source for my alpha particles, and an alpha particle detector. But something was missing. I showed the alpha particles can go right through the gold and hit the detector, but I wanted to actually see it happen, or at least see their path right through the gold. So in order to do that, I'm taking a different approach from Rutherford's original setup. I'm going to be using something called a cloud chamber. A cloud chamber uses supercooled alcohol vapor, which is right on the edge of condensing into tiny droplets. When a high-energy particle flies through the air, it creates a path of ionized air molecules. These ionized air molecules trigger a chain reaction, condensing alcohol vapor into tiny droplets. So all you have to do is look for a tiny path of condensed droplets. That's the path that the particle took. Now, cloud chambers aren't actually that hard to make, but they can be really finicky if you don't do it just right. So I'm using a fish tank for my chamber, with a dark cookie sheet as the bottom to help me see the condensation paths better. To fill the chamber with evenly distributed alcohol vapor, I'm saturating some felt with ethanol. You can also use isopropyl alcohol if it's at least 90%, but ethanol works a little better. Then I'll stick this to what will be the top of the chamber. For some reason, felt works the best for this. I've tried other materials, but felt gives the best results. Next, I need to seal the chamber. If it isn't sealed properly, I can't get a nice concentration gradient in the chamber. So I'm using sticky tack to seal it completely to the cookie sheet here. Now I just need to cool the bottom of the chamber. The fastest and easiest way to do this is to place the whole thing on a block of dry ice. For my radioactive source, I have a small piece of americium-241. It emits alpha, beta, and gamma radiation, but most of it is alpha radiation. About 85% of the particles coming off are alpha particles, while only around 13% are gamma rays. But that's fine because in cloud chambers, alpha particles leave big, solid, straight lines. But gamma rays, on the other hand, don't make straight lines. They kind of curve and they're really tiny paths. Now let's stick our americium-241 in the chamber and see if we can detect anything in our cloud chamber. So I'm going to place it on the dry ice here and then light up the side with a flashlight. Now look at this. Look at all those particles just shooting off the americium source. Every single one of those streaks represents an atom that just decayed. That means every path you see is an actual alpha particle emitted in real time from a single atom of americium transforming into another element. Look how they're just constantly pouring off this source. It's like it never runs out. That's because americium-241 has a half-life of about 432 years. That means it takes more than 4 centuries for just half of the atoms in this tiny button to decay. So if there's one big takeaway from this, it's to remember that there's lots of atoms in things. The atoms are constantly pouring off of this, but it never runs out. Okay, now that our cloud chamber's working, let's try putting some thin, solid gold in front of it. Now this part was actually harder than I expected. Gold foil is very thin and it rips really easily. I went through a lot of gold sheets before I finally got a setup that worked. To make sure we get an accurate test, I placed the gold foil completely against the floor of the chamber, so there's no way for alpha particles to sneak underneath it. Okay, let's turn off the lights and see if we can spot the alpha particles going through the gold. Whoa, look at that, you can see it. The alpha particle paths are going right through the gold. So just like in my vacuum chamber experiment with the particle detector, this shows that most of the space in an atom is empty. And what I mean by that is 99.4% of the mass of these gold atoms is concentrated at a single point in the center called the nucleus. And what that means is that almost all of the atom is completely empty space. But it's not empty. Most alpha particles fly straight through the atom, knocking off any electrons that get in the way. But every once in a while, an alpha particle gets a direct hit on the nucleus. When that happens, the alpha particle can get deflected or even bounce back. The ability for gold foil to send an alpha particle bouncing backward was the first proof ever that atoms contained a nucleus. So now let's look behind the gold sheet. Can we see any alpha particles moving backward toward the source? Look, every once in a while you see a streak coming from the gold back toward the source. That could be an alpha particle that hit a nucleus and bounced back. So having these alpha particles bounce back like this is actually pretty amazing. In Rutherford's gold foil experiment, when he saw evidence that the alpha particles were bouncing back off the gold, he said it was almost as incredible as if you fired a 15-inch shell at a piece of tissue paper and it came back and hit you. This experiment is so cool. It proves something incredible. The nucleus is real. Atoms aren't blobs of charge like the plum pudding model suggested. Instead, they're mostly empty space with an ultra-dense, positively charged nucleus at the center. And when an alpha particle collides with one of these nuclei, it scatters, sometimes even bouncing straight back toward the source. This couldn't happen unless there was a nucleus. This was one of the most important discoveries in physics, and it completely changed our understanding of matter. I love this experiment because it takes something that was originally just a mathematical conclusion, something scientists had to infer, and it lets us actually see it with our own eyes. And all it takes is a bit of gold foil, a radioactive source, and a cloud chamber to recreate one of the greatest breakthroughs in science. And thanks for watching another episode of the Action Lab. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and we'll see you next time.
Hey. Wacht, ik ben zo terug. Oh, je vindt ze leuk.
Maak iedereen jaloers en ruik naar luxe parfum met de nieuwe Axfine Fragrance Collection.
Antimatter.
Ooh. Oh, look at that. So there really is antimatter.
It is real.
Okay.
It is real.
And what is it against? Why is it against matter so much?
Yeah, you know, antimatter, once we came to understand the behavior of particles, then there are fields in which they operate and they move, there are forces. And if you took a step back and looked at them, there was a prediction that it enabled. It said, this allows there to be a particle, such as the electron, but moving backwards through time. And then you say, well, that's weird.
That is weird.
What does that mean? And so it took some smart heads to come to it and say, well, maybe it's not an ordinary particle moving backwards in time. It is an extraordinary particle moving forwards in time. Thus was born the concept of antimatter. So antimatter would be a particle where the quantum properties are the opposite of what they are for matter.
Okay.
So an antimatter, so what's the charge on an electron?
Negative.
Negative. The charge on the antimatter version would be positive. So rather than calling it an anti-electron, which you can, you're allowed to.
Right.
You're allowed to.
That
we
makes
came up with
sense.
a word for it.
What?
Positron.
A positron.
That's where you get positron.
Keeping it positive.
Keeping it positive. So what we learned is that if you take an antimatter and matter particle and you bring them together, they annihilate.
So,
what?
I'm weirded out by that.
За дахиад ер нь 3 бичлэг үзэх хэрэгтэй байсан. Ionic plasma тэгээд moral shell 2 the cube гэд энэрийг хэдүүлээ дараа үзнэ. Бигээс хүүхдээ сургуулиас наваад хоолоо идчихэд тэгээд буцаад ирээ. А тэр хүртэл дараагийн эпизод руу узатлаа. Түр. Бай бай.